Yeah, I suppose, Keith, that's totally understandable from the manager's point of view, from any manager's point of view. You don't want what would be perceived as a disruptive influence in the squad.
Yeah, very much so, and especially when you factor in the attacking options that they do have. They don't actually need him, especially when he brings that type of baggage or disruption, potential disruption. He just needs to keep... We've all been in the tournaments where the starting 11 looks after itself. It's the players that aren't particularly going to feature heavily. They're the ones that you need to keep involved, keep buying in. The team ethos, it's all about the team. And I think Deschamps has started to get towards that with this squad.
Yeah, so, Shay, we're totally familiar with the luxury of riches that France have in their squad. On the other hand, you look at Australia and you think, wow, I mean, there is no comparison, on paper at least. I mean, probably the strongest area of the pitch for them is midfield, but in other areas, do you think they're going to really struggle?
Yeah, well, we're going through the defence, are not household names, I wouldn't say. I mean, you say the midfield with Moy and Yetnik and Rodic, people would know, you know, at home watching them three players, but you know, it's going to be a tough afternoon for them. I think we spoke about the attacking qualities that France have, and you know, especially the back four. We were just speaking here off air. You know, I don't recognise any of the players, and their teams. They're not playing for big teams in world football, and I think they're going to have, you know, a difficult afternoon. We all know Matt Ryan, the goalkeeper, of course. He had a very good season for Brighton, but he'll be severely tested today, of course, against this. You know, I already mentioned the front three of France. He'll have a big game today. Even
that midfield area, though, Peter. You look at, we all know the names of them. Still worries me. Really does worry me. That was probably the biggest selection dilemma that the manager had. But when you look at that, Moy prefers to play as a 10. Rogic is a number 10. Jedinak, best years are certainly behind them. And in terms of mobility, where France like to play in those little pockets in front of the opposition back four, huge job for him today. OK,
well, the teams are in, and we're going to take a look at the French selection. Any surprises as far as you're concerned, Didi, in this French lineup?
Well, as we spoke about before, embarrassment of riches, not really. Tolisso to get the nod ahead of Matuidi is probably the biggest surprise. And I think himself and Kante will have the job to give Pogba the freedom on that left-hand side to really have kind of a free role and join in and support the front three. I'm not sure they do need an awful lot of support. Dembele, Mbappe and Griezmann, three of the biggest names in world football. It's just a very exciting team. They've got pace, they've got skill, they've got guile. And at the back, the player probably to watch out for, I've seen a lot of him in Germany this is Pavard, who plays it right back. He's only 20 or 21. He's a star in the making. There might be a big move for him after this tournament. Yeah. He plays as a centre-back, plays right back today. So maybe people to watch out for Pavard. I think he's a star in the making.